Guys, welcome back to my channel. I Designed My Story with your girl Keisha. I am so happy that you are here. I know it has been a minute since I've been on here and I have a lot to share with you. So I have a special announcement to make. So stick around and see what it is. Welcome back, you guys. So in the previous video I left off with all of my passport shenanigans. I had already announced that I was moving to Mexico with me and my 4 out of 5 children because my daughter decided to stay back in the States, and left off with the passport shenanigans. So I was able to get obviously all of our passports because we are where? Here in Mexico. Yes. We made it safe and sound, right? So let's rewind on what led up to here, right? So with the passports, that was so crazy. For the most part, the kids' passports were fine, right? So there was no issues there. My passport was supposedly, my first passport was supposedly delivered to my house, but I never received it. So I had to ask neighbors and I was asking the post office. No one knew anything. So then I had to reapply, send a form in, reapply, basically to get a, not reapply, but to get a replacement passport. Now, mind you, this is in June. We leave June 28th. So this was like the early part of June 7th or 8th, something like that, where they're like, oh, we need you to send in a form and we will, for a placement, and we'll go ahead and get to working on that. I'm like, oh my gosh. The turnaround time could be up to 2 weeks. I'm like, oh God. So I decided to shout out to the Facebook group, the passport Facebook group. They were awesome. I got some really good information and advice on there. So I was able to reach out to my senator's office because I was based in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. Senator Warnock's office. So, oh my gosh, I'm so appreciative of them for their help. So with their help and then staying on top of the passport agency, I was able to get my passport. You guys, it was delivered to me the day that I had to depart, June 28th. Literally, I had to be to the airport by 12:30, between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. The UPS man showed up at 10 a.m. on the dot to hand me my passport. You want to talk about passport shenanigans? That is passport shenanigans, right? So needless to say, I went through so many different emotional changes, May and June for sure. I had all the kids' passports. I was the only one that did not have a passport, which meant that, okay, if mama don't have a passport, ain't nobody going nowhere, right? So I had to really just stay focused on the goal that I had set out for myself, keep telling myself why I made this decision, stay focused on that, stay in tuned in that, the whole nine. And I could not allow myself to go down a rabbit hole of doubt and insecurities and worry and anxiety and all that kind of stuff, because I'm guilty. I will do that. But I was so proud of myself that I pushed through it. I still kept moving, progressing and through my plans of moving. Sold everything, sold and donated everything in my house. Sold my car, everything, right? So we left and we had 11 pieces of luggage, which is pretty good for 5 people total. So it's me and my 4 younger children, 14, 9, 7, and my 2-year-old. So that's pretty good for 5 people, right? 11 pieces of luggage. So I was very, very happy about that. Yeah, so it was so emotional up to the point of the move and everything, saying see you later to friends and family. My oldest daughter staying behind. She's 20, so I understood that that's her journey, right? So yeah, so it's been really weird not having her in the mix of everything, but she is doing very well. I'm happy about that. Got her all situated and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to actually go deeper into how to get if you have an older child living in the States and you're moving abroad, how to get them situated and set up. So stay tuned for that video. Made it to the airport. This was my kids' first time flying ever. So needless to say, I was a little bit nervous. This was my first time flying international. So I didn't know what to really expect because I had heard so many different stories about international, mostly good for the most part. Was that it was going to be very different from domestic, which I will say it was. It was definitely a lot quicker than I expected, because typically when I would fly domestic, I mean, you're waiting through security for about 2, maybe 3 hours sometimes, depending on where you're flying and what time of day and all those different scenarios and situations that can be happening and that can impact your travel, right? So get to the airport. It took such a hard time to find baggage, a baggage cart, right? So finally found a baggage cart to lug all 11 pieces of not furniture, of luggage. Got it checked in. The lady at the counter was like, okay, so some pieces of luggage were like under 50 pounds and some were over 50 pounds. And she was like, well, you know, because if you have luggage that's over 50 pounds, you have to pay a fee and all that kind of stuff. I had already budgeted $100 per bag just in case, because I had bought one of those handheld. I have to show you guys. I'll put it in the description what I had bought, which is the handheld luggage weight thingy. Or whatever. You literally wrap it onto your luggage handler and you pick it up, and it's able to tell you how much your luggage weighs, which I will say it was very accurate, right? So I knew 3 pieces of my luggage were going to be over, which it was exactly those 3 pieces, which I thought was going to be over the 50 pounds. So I had to literally kind of beg her, like, it's okay, I'm gonna pay. Because she's like, well, just open them up and just take things out of this luggage and put it in that piece. And I'm looking at her like, ma'am, listen, it took a long time to get things into these pieces, into this luggage and get things packed up. I'm not doing that. And then I got 4 kids over here, 3 of which are trying to run around because they're just looking all around at the airport and all that kind of stuff. No, let me just go and pay my fee and catch this flight. So we got through that. The kids were doing remarkably well. Like, they were doing really, really well as far as to the airport. Got through security. I had to come back through security because I did not realize that I had to take the laptops out of the kids' bags. So each of them, the 3, had a laptop in their bag. So to come back through security, take those bags out, pull out the laptops, put them individually into each of the containers and then their bags, and then go back through. So that was the only I guess difficulty, but not really difficulty thing that I had to go through security. For the most part, it went through seamless. We probably had to go, it took 30 minutes total to go through security. Like, it was super fast. It was not what I expected at all. Then we got over there, waited to board, and it was just so much anxiety going through my mind at the time, because it's just like, you know, if you can think of and imagine dreaming about something, wanting something, praying for something, working towards a thing, right? And then to actually see it manifesting and coming to light. It's like, it's such an overwhelming feeling. I can't even really put it into words. So just trying to take and absorb all of that in while traveling with 4 kids. Yeah, so let's see. We finally boarded, got onto the plane. Got the kids situated. They were super excited. Like, they were a lot less, they were so chill, like way less than me, like way more than me. Like, I was just like, because I'm always kind of nervous flying when it comes to taking off and then when it comes to landing. Your girl is a big baby when it comes to those 2 things, like, for real. But the kids, they were just like having fun and looking around. They were ready, of course, plug in because they saw the screen where they can, you know, put the headphones in, watch movies, all that kind of stuff. So it was a really good flight. We were delayed a little bit taking off, but it wasn't too bad. And then just as we're getting closer, I was getting so nervous, like, oh my gosh, we really did, like, leave the States and we're really moving to Mexico. Like, the plane ticket didn't make it real. The passports didn't really make it too much real, but getting on the actual plane and flying in the air made it so real. Landing was a trip. So when we landed, To get down, we had to go through, of course, immigration. So that wasn't, that was a quick process too. So we landed probably about 6 o'clock in the evening, 6 something in the evening. And I think we were right about or in the middle of maybe a shift change or something like that. So that was a seamless process for all of us. Yeah, we was able to go through. We were probably there for 10 minutes. And then we go out. Don't laugh at me when it comes to the customs part. So I had read, you know, and this is where you kind of get in trouble with reading so many of the blogs and watching so many of the YouTube videos, right? So I had watched so many YouTube videos and read so many blog posts, y'all, on this to try to prepare myself as much as possible for this move, right? And so the thing that people kept saying was, you know, when you go through customs, get ready to look out for, like, I guess this person standing here, agent standing here, and a little machine that's going to be like red, or you press the button, it's going to be red, it's going to be green, and then they're going to put you to the side and look through your luggage and all this. So I'm like, okay, you guys, when we get to customs, I need everybody to stay together. Don't ask a whole bunch of questions, so that way we can get through this, right? Because I know when they saw them 11 pieces of luggage, I'm like, okay, we're going to be here for a minute if they got to go through all 11 pieces of our luggage. But it was not like that. So we're just walking, and we had got our luggage, and so we're just walking, and I started to see like the signs for the car rental places, like the Hertz rental car and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, and I'm just seeing everybody walking, and I'm not seeing anyone really stopping anywhere that I'm expecting for customs, for a customs check. I see the customs agents with dogs, but it just didn't dawn on me. So I'm like walking, I'm like, okay, I'm not about to go through this door and they have somebody come and stop me and I get in trouble. So I'll go back to the customs agent. I'm like, okay, excuse me, you know, we just got here. Am I supposed to go to the side or anything like that? She's like, no, you're fine. Go ahead, you're fine. Y'all. So that was interesting. But that was cool. So I was like, okay, cool. So apparently, I guess the you know, the dogs were doing their thing or whatever. Unless you just want a whole bunch of baby stuff and kid toys and kid clothes and all that kind of stuff, we were good. So go through. Yeah, my nerves got kind of jumbled. So we end up using e-transfer. So I booked them ahead of time. I had booked them the month before. So towards the end of May, I had booked them already for transportation from the airport to the hotel. So when I first got there, they were not like right there. The thing about when you come through those doors and then you're going down, and you're going to the area where all the taxis are to catch the audio bus and all of that kind of stuff, right? It can be incredibly overwhelming if that's your very first time coming through the airport, because you're just all of a sudden inundated with so many different people coming at you left and right, asking you to buy things, trying to sell you things, all that kind of stuff. And the taxis, you know, just waving to you to come, you know, come to them and they can take you here and take you there and all that kind of stuff. So good thing e-transfers definitely let me know ahead of time. Keep looking forward. We'll be standing right here. So I just text them once I had got there, and yeah, and so they showed up and we had to wait probably about 20 minutes and everything, because, you know, it's a shuttle, right? So of course they had other people. So it's like, okay, so I had to wait. So got loaded up into the van and I felt much more ease. I felt a lot, yeah, just so much. I just felt a lot better that we were like, okay, whew, got through that. And then I was just like, oh my gosh, like my kids actually went through an international flight. I went through an international flight with no problems. Like, wow, that is so cool. Mom, when? Yeah, so that was cool. So it's about a 45-minute drive from Cancun Airport to Playa. Which is where I am now. So we stayed at the Grand 50 Suites Hotel in Playa del Carmen, and that was a really, really nice hotel. It was perfect for us because being the size family that we are, there was two full size or queen size beds. I want to say queen because they were pretty big. A full lounger couch, so a long lounge piece, and then with 3 sofas that was all connected, so like a sectional So my daughter slept on that. The little three, my youngest three kids slept, and I'm looking over here because my daughter climbed up here, y'all, and we went to sleep. So they slept in that bed, and then of course Mama had her own bed. It had a full kitchen, full size refrigerator, cooking, so stovetop, all that kind of stuff. So that was really, really cool. Rooftop pool, beautiful view of the ocean. Oh my gosh, just an amazing view of the ocean. So we stayed there for 2 weeks while I was looking around for to rent an apartment, all that kind of stuff. So finally settled on the other side of the highway. I was looking at some places on the touristy side, but budget wise, honestly, I just didn't want to be at the top end of my budget, especially when I'm trying to get acclimated in new, used to a new place and all that kind of stuff, right? So I was like, well, no, let me just go to the other side. So came over here to the other side of the highway. I'm really excited about it, and everything. So yeah. So I was able to find a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. So 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, living room, dining room, kitchen. I have a back patio, enclosed patio. Let's see, there's a pool literally across the parking lot. All for 10,000 pesos, which converts over to 500 US dollars, which is unheard of, right, in the States. It's cozy, it's, you know, it's perfect for us, right? It's a great transitional space for us. So I'm really, really happy with it. When I first saw it, I knew that's where I needed to be at. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is the space I need to be in, where everybody has their old space. My 14-year-old got to have her own room. My 2 sons, they share a room, and then baby girl, she's just kind of everywhere. So wherever she fit in where she get in where she fit in, right? So yeah, so just kind of now just getting acclimated to the area. I like being on the other side for the fact that everything, of course, over here is Spanish speaking. So you're definitely immersed more into the language and being able to pick up on the language, so, and learn the language, which is something that is a goal of ours, is to become fluent within the year. So we'll at least be here in Playa for a year, unless anything changes. And then during that time, I'm definitely going to take advantage of using the audio bus, so that way we can go to different parts of the country, kind of get a feel for different areas, definitely just to visit, see the culture, see the country, all that kind of stuff. Let's see, the only difficulties, so challenges initially was, of course, obviously the language barrier. When you're in that, like for me, that first week was probably my most challenging and my most emotional. And I think that's pretty normal, right? Because you're venturing into something brand new like this, venturing to a country that you've never been to, all of that kind of stuff, trying to get acclimated, work still, take care of the kids, all that kind of stuff. So many different emotions that I was dealing with at that time. And so it was just little things that, like, your girl was having like a nervous breakdown over, like, trying to order something. So you definitely are having to remember that, hey, you're in a new country. You're not going to have the same types of food. They're not going to operate the same types of way that you're used to, right? So definitely having to figure out, what kind of food that we want to eat, spices, different kind of things like that. The money. It took me that week, about a week and a half, to figure out the money, to really get that down packed, right? To really get that down packed. Now I'm good. I'm good. I got it covered. But that first week and a half, it was kind of rough. Especially because Mexico is 90% cash based. So it's like, and I'm not used to doing that in the States. Like, I did 90% of my transactions by card. I rarely carry cash with me. And if I did, it was definitely no more than like $20, $30. So this is different, having to carry cash in different denominations and all that with you. So I've gotten definitely accustomed to that. I feel a lot more better now than I did before. So the next week, which will be July 28th, will be here a month. So many different things that I have learned, that I have navigated through. I feel proud of myself for navigating through. And I'm going to share all of that with you guys. So I have a lot. I'm going to be doing some brain dumping basically, of videos of so many different things. I want to break it up for you guys that I want to share. I'm hoping that this information helps, obviously, any other moms who are looking to move abroad, specifically to Mexico, and what that looks like, especially when you have my number of kids. So it's very different when you're single, or maybe if you have 1 or 2 children, but definitely when you have more than 2 children and you're a solo parent, that's a whole nother set of challenges in and of itself. So even trying to get a taxi. When it's just me, myself, and I'm running errands and going to the store and all of that, is pretty cool. It's easy, it's seamless. I can get a taxi like that. When I have the kids with me, so that means it's 5 of us total, it's a little bit more challenging, especially because there are some taxis not enforced, but they have a rider occupancy limit. So it could be 3 passengers they'll take, or 4 passengers they'll take. But for the most part, if I have to wait probably sometimes upward of 15-20 minutes for a taxi to take us. So it's just those little things that you have to kind of navigate through and all of that. So it is what it is. But even through, I would say, these little mini shenanigans and mini quarrels and challenges, I have no regrets, like at all whatsoever. I knew that I made this decision. I needed to make this decision for me and my children. I needed to change our lives. I needed to change the environment that we were living in. I needed to allow myself to open up to new opportunities, new possibilities of living and learning to live. I wanted to definitely showcase the world to them, right? Because I homeschool. So I wanted to take that to a different level and bring to life their learning, right? So I'm excited about this new journey that I'm on, and sharing, this information with you all, hoping that this definitely helps. Again, any mamas who are wanting to make that decision and make that leap of moving abroad, what does that look like? Get a feel for it, especially through the perspective of someone who is a solo parent and who has multiple children, right? So more than 2 children, more than 1 child. But definitely doing this with 4 kids definitely has its rewards and challenges to it. So I think it's cool that I'm being able to navigate through it. It's so funny when I look back on the different situations, scenarios, and things that I've been through in my life. I can literally pull different strengths and different skills and different things that I learned, lessons that I learned from those situations, that have helped me navigate the last almost 4 weeks here. And I know that will continue to help me navigate as we, living here, and then we're traveling even further to other countries. So stay tuned, you guys. But thank you again. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to my channel so that way you can stay updated with all of the different things that I have going on and everything I'm going to be sharing with you guys. Also be sure to like my videos, share this with any fellow moms or expats who can use the information or get the inspiration, and also comment, let me know your thoughts, any suggestions. I am all for it. So until next time, see you later.